The first article that I want to read is Networking as an Introvert CTO. I believe I'm an introvert. I like being alone. I like staying home alone. And I like writing software alone. I think I qualify. So, how does one network as an introvert? Let's find out. Is this big enough for you? There I was, standing. What the heck? I was reading here. I write about engineering, management, building products, and being a good technical co-founder. Well, thanks for letting me know. Join a growing community of more than 1,000 future CTOs. Fuck you. There I was, standing in the middle of a buzzing tech event that our company organized, feeling like a fish out of water. The room was filled with chatter, but not just any chatter. Swiss-German chatter. Now, if you've ever tried to understand Swiss-German, you'll know it sounds like someone put German, French, and a dash of an alien language into a blender. And there I was, focusing hard on trying to decipher it while also figuring out how to approach all these people without looking like a lost puppy. It was a networking event, so I was supposed to be talking to all of them, right? Right. This was my first networking event in Zurich 5 years ago. A lot of things have changed since then. Except the Swiss-German language. It still stayed alien. You see, the tech world is a funny place. It's filled with brilliant minds, game-changing ideas, and a shit ton of networking events. Events that seem to be designed by extroverts. I feel you. It always seems to be. It's almost like an introvert would never ever think about forcing other introverts into a single place with the sole purpose to communicate with each other. Almost. For extroverts, it's like someone throwing a party and only inviting people who love pineapple on their pizza. And if you're an introvert, you're the guy who's just looking for some good old margarita. I'm that guy. The one who prefers margaritas to pineapple pizza. I'm the introverted CTO who used to dread these events. Who used? Things have changed. And I have a feeling we're gonna find out. I'd often find myself in the corner, nursing a drink and wondering, what the hell am I doing here? But over the years, I've learned a thing or two. Actually, I wouldn't even call it learning anything. I just found my answer to be, what am I doing here? Question. I realized that my introversion wasn't a weakness, but a different way of connecting with people. I didn't need to be the loudest person in the room. I just needed to be, well, me. A genuine person, trying to find other genuine people and exchanging words to see if our puzzle fit. I didn't need to impress anyone. I just needed to be interested in them, and vice versa, of course. This is fine. So if you're an introverted developer, CTO, or just someone who feels out of place when thinking about networking, stick around. I'm about to share some hard-earned lessons, some thoughts from my journey. Don't assume this is a primer on how to do networking. It absolutely isn't. I'd like to tell you my story of how I found a way of networking that suits me. Hint, it's the writing. Not just wallflowers. The world's got some messed up ideas about networking. In every movie, there's this stereotypical salesperson. You know, the type. The natural networker who's always the life of every event, slapping bags, cracking jokes, and handing out business cards like candy on Halloween. Yeah, that guy. But here's the uncomfortable truth. I'm not sure if the times have changed or our sales cycles have become longer. That guy isn't the only kind of successful networker out there. And thank God for that. And means hope for you and me. Not all extroverts are networking ninjas. And not all introverts are trembling wrecks hiding in the bathroom. Hell, not all introverts have social anxiety. That's the thing that might stop you from approaching people. You see, introversion comes with its own set of superpowers. Deep thinking? Check. Empathy? Double check. The ability to listen without waiting for your turn to speak? Oh, hell yes! These things allow you to connect with people on a level that Mr. Life of the Party can only dream of. At one tech event, while everyone was circling around and talking to as many people as possible, I met another developer, and we hit it off immediately. We were having a deep one-on-one chat for the whole evening, talking about technology and AI and how it could benefit his company and our projects. No agenda, no sales pitch, just two devs interacting about tech. I wondered if every networking event could be like this. By the night's end, I had forged a connection more meaningful than any LinkedIn request. And the best part? I didn't feel drained. I felt energized because for me, it wasn't about working in the room. It was about genuinely connecting with another person who shared my passion. Next time you're at an event feeling like you're not networky enough, remember this. Networking isn't about quantity, it's about quality. It's not about how many hands you shake or business cards you give out. Even if you talk only to a single person who will remember you when the time comes, that's a great result. So the goal of networking. When most people think of networking, they imagine this sleazy game of collecting business cards, name dropping, and trying to cozy up to the right people. But if that's your approach, you're doing it all wrong. And you'll probably end up with a bunch of superficial connections that won't mean jack in the long run. It's about building genuine, meaningful relationships. It's about connecting with people from various domains, understanding the world, and finding common ground. And yes, it's about forging connections with like-minded people who might be able to help you down the line. But here's the problem. You never really know who that champion is going to be for you. Today's intern could be tomorrow's CEO. So treat everyone like they're the damn CEO. Let's talk about time. Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither are meaningful relationships. You can't expect to meet someone at an event and instantly become best friends forever. Relationships, the real ones, take time. They're built on shared experiences, trust, and mutual respect. So if you're hopping from one event to another, looking for that magic connection, slow the hell down. Take a breath and focus on building one relationship at a time. Do follow-ups if you had a great conversation with someone, or continue it over lunch. In the end, networking isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. It's not about the quick wins, but the long game. My core principles. Networking isn't some mystical art reserved for the extroverted elite. It's not about being able to charm the pants off anyone you meet. It's simpler than that. Here are some of the philosophies that I tried to follow that might be useful to you. Let's judge them. Make other people feel accepted. So in other words, be kind. And careful what you say. Don't let those mean thoughts come out. You know that feeling when you walk into a room and it feels like everyone's staring at you? Judging your every move? I feel that every stream. Yeah, it sucks. Now imagine it the other way around. If you could be the person who makes others feel at ease. The one who says, hey, it's fine. We're all just trying our best. I've got your back. If a stranger came up to me and said that, I'd be wondering what their real intentions were. Shift your focus from your own insecurities to making others feel welcome. It's not about you, it's about them. And guess what? Everyone, and I mean everyone, has that deep-seated desire to be accepted. So be the person who offers that acceptance freely. It's like social magic. Give first, then give some more. Oh, I was not expecting this one. So far, this has been common sense. Now, this is an interesting take. I've read this book called The Go-Giver. It's pretty fascinating read. It was a simple book describing simple things, but it all clicked into place for me. Give value first, not with an ulterior motive of getting something in return. Although, technically, you can't really hide that though, because everybody's there to get something out of it. So everybody knows that everybody has an ulterior motive. You cannot have one. You cannot not have one. You're there for that reason. But genuinely because you can and it won't cost you much. I do the same with my consulting. The first one is always free. Yeah, that's how drug dealers work as well. I mean, people also do that with drugs. But that's a different story. I give tips, insights, and help out during the first consultation. Because why not? It doesn't matter if it doesn't lead to a collaboration. I still helped out someone and we both left the meeting feeling good. There does come a point where you're gonna feel like you're being taken advantage of. Too many people come in just for the first free consulting. The lesson? Lead with a giving mindset. But careful with it though. You're gonna burn out eventually if you keep giving and not getting anything in return, even though you shouldn't have an ulterior motive deep down. If you value yourself, you're not gonna wanna just be giving your time away. Time is precious. Time is valuable. Waste of time feels bad. Don't approach networking as a transactional game where you're trying to get something. Instead, focus on what you can give and then give some more. It's not just a good karma, it's damn effective. Maybe they're lucky, maybe they're not. Always gonna depend with whom you're networking with, but oh well. Don't overthink it. Look, I get it. As introverts, we have PhDs in overthinking. Before even walking into a room, you know all the things that can go wrong and all the scenarios of what ifs have already played out in your head. But here's the thing, networking isn't coding, it's just human interaction, meaning more difficult. So drop the script, ditch the rehearsed lines and just be yourself. Unless you're a shitty person, then don't be yourself first, change yourself, and then be yourself. Become a better self. But seriously, if you have a shitty personality, you should work on that first. In fact, ignore any just be yourself advice. It's, if it hasn't worked out until now, then it's probably because you yourself, you might be shitty. Sorry. Remember, people can smell bullshit from a mile away. So don't try to be someone you're not. Embrace your quirks, your passions, and your unique perspective. I feel like that this is some really bad advice. Over the years, I've come across some pretty, unlikable people. That's the word I'm gonna use. And if you can do that while having a laugh and not taking yourself too seriously, you're golden. Networking isn't just a fancy word for building relationships. And as introverts, we have a unique set of skills that can make those relationships deep, meaningful, and lasting. But I think there's one important thing that's just being left out. Someone who's introvert might be introverted because they don't know how to be social. And that is the issue. If they don't know how to be social, it's gonna get very, very weird. All this advice isn't really gonna work out if you have no idea how to just be someone who's likable, who people will want to be hanging out with. Here's my advice. Fuck around and find out. Look at people's reactions. Look at how they behave. Look at what you get back. If you feel like you're just being avoided, it's time to make a change. Try something else and repeat the cycle until it works. It's almost like coding. It really is. But with one big difference. You can write some shitty code. It will probably fail, it will probably crash. But you're gonna be able to just try again with no consequences. In real life, it's a little bit different. Consequences are real, but sometimes they're not really gonna matter. You might be able to ignore them, but it is what it is. My tactics of survival. Get it? I get it. You're a developer. You probably feel more at home discussing algorithms than making small talk. I'd say that discussing algorithms could be considered small talk if you were talking with somebody else who's a developer. Developer love talk about algorithm. If you don't, you're not a real developer. That's why I made a small list of functions you can follow. Even the most introverted coder can become a networking ninja with these basic functions. So let's break it down step by step. No bullshit. Hey, I like this. I like where this is going. Smile and say hi. What if I don't have any teeth? Or what if my teeth are yellow? Or, okay, as you can see, I happen to be lucky in that regard. But not everybody's gonna be blessed with a great looking smile. In that case, avoid smiling as much as you can. Say hi in a nice way. Just don't give out a bad first impression. Actually, if you don't like the word bad, don't give out an awkward first impression. Sounds dumb, right? But you'd be surprised how many people screw this up. A smile is universal. But then again, smile privilege is a thing. It's like the yellow world of human interaction. It breaks barriers, eases tension, and makes you approachable. So flash those pearly whites. There we go. And throw in a simple, my name is Vadim. I build digital products. Ask questions. People love talking about themselves. So find an entry point, listen to the conversation, and when you spot an opening, jump in with a question about something that you found interesting. It's like finding a bug in your code. Once you spot it, the rest is easy. I don't think that was a good analogy. Let me take that bug analogy a little bit further. You found a bug and you brought it up. You brought it up to the person who has the bug. We're talking about a person who was talking to you and they said something and you questioned that something they said. So you brought up the bug. How do you think the other person is gonna feel like that you just had to nitpick on something they said, eh? Oh, you said this? What about that, huh? Obviously though, when you're talking to somebody and they mention something that you're intrigued by, ask more about it. But don't just make questions for the sake of making questions to keep the conversation flowing. It can get tiring. I'd avoid this advice. Don't just ask questions for the sake of asking questions. Be genuine when you're talking to somebody. And make sure, in this case in a networking event, you're not just you're not just going on a tangent. Remember what you're doing there. Remember the point of being there. I can't count the number of times that I've had a conversation with people and they just go on and on about rambling about dumb shit that nobody gives a fuck about. And then when I say something, they ask more questions about it, but I don't really feel like talking more about it. Give gratitude. If someone offers advice, shares an insight, or makes your day a bit brighter, thank them. And I mean it. Ditch the flattery and be sincere. It's a small gesture, but it leaves a lasting impression. Is there someone out there that just does not think? I don't know. This is my reaction to it. Find common ground. Do you remember me mentioning having a great conversation with a fellow developer? That feeling when you both geek out over the same obscure programming language? That's the power of common ground. It's the bridge between strangers and friends. So dig a little. Find shared interests, experiences, or even mutual gripes, like that one annoying framework. It's the foundation of any genuine connection. This is very much true. This is some good advice. And gracefully. Some people don't know how to end a conversation or even when to end a conversation. Let's see. We've all been there, trapped in a conversation that's dragging on, looking for an escape route. But here's the thing, you don't need to fake a phone call or suddenly remember a meeting. Just be honest. Tell them to shut the fuck up. Oh wait, that's not what they wrote. Thank them for the chat, express hope to catch up again, and move on. No drama, no awkwardness. Yeah, I guess that'll do as well. Follow up. This is the big one. You can nail every other step, but you're toast if you screw this up. Following up is where the magic happens. Don't be that guy who spammed inboxes. Be genuine. Reference your conversation. Offer value and keep the door open for future interactions. Yeah, I think that is good. Oh, here's the algorithm. You go to an event, you approach person I, say hi, and introduce yourself, ask questions, listen carefully and share your experiences. Keep a lookout for a common ground. Go to 3 if the conversation feels fresh. Otherwise, continue. And gracefully, go to 2 if you're not tired. Otherwise, continue. Eat some food, leave the event. Follow up with everyone you liked via email. If you see bugs in my algorithm, do tell me. My preferred networking way. We live in a world where you can order pizza, find a date, and even get therapy. All without leaving your apartment. So why are we still treating networking like some old school face-to-face ritual? Welcome to the digital renaissance. And if you're an introvert, this is your playground. Writing in this hyper-connected world is like networking on steroids. It's your voice, your brand, and your ticket to global connections. A few years back, I decided to take a stab at writing. Not because I fancied myself the next Hemingway, but because I had things to say. I started penning down my thoughts, experiences, and expertise, and something magical happened. People started reading. They commented. They shared. And they reached out. Fast forward to today, and my pieces have seen the front page of Hacker News more times than I can count. People started coming to me. I was surprised as well. Why? Apparently, they resonated with what I wrote, and just like that, without even trying, I was networking. Oh, so that's what he meant. When he said that this was an introvert's playground, I thought he was gonna bring up messaging, chat message, stuff like that, sending emails. But no, writing, saying what's in your mind, and then sharing it all over the world, the internet, the world of the internet. And he's gotten some good results. Hey, it got me reading, it got me reacting. He's onto something. And you can do this without having to interact with anybody directly. You don't even need to see them. It's great. Even though I do have a newsletter, I don't stick to a strict writing schedule. I promise myself to write an article every 2 weeks, but life gets in the way. I write about topics that intrigue me, such as networking for introverts, for example, but I'm consistent. And that consistency paid off, big time. People talk. When you do good work, share valuable insights, and resonate with someone through your writing, they remember, and they talk. Referrals started pouring in. People I'd worked with in the past were now pointing others in my direction. And the best part, many of my readers became my clients. They didn't need a sales pitch. They'd already bought into my worldview, experiences, and authenticity. By the time people reach out to me, they feel like they know me because, in a way, they do. The power of, what's the word? Parasocial relationships. If you're interested in connecting, drop me a line. Well, for the most part, I don't agree with the advice. It's pretty generic. But I guess somebody out there needs to hear it. But still, you gotta work on yourself as well. You can't just put yourself out there. Take a look at me. When I first started streaming, I was placed in a corner on your screen and I would just be mumbling and, saying a word every now and then, falling up and down maybe, playing a video game, not giving very insightful commentary. Wasn't really providing any value. There was really no reason to watch me because I wasn't ready to stream. I had to learn the ropes. The same thing applies to socializing. You don't know how to socialize, you're gonna have a hard time networking. So you need to work on that. There's really no way around it. Still, neat. I wonder what the people on Reddit have to say. Since when do you need to be an extrovert to connect via socket or configure a VPC? And what if you're an extranet? Glad that this person is a CTO. But it seems very rare that you would attain that position without some basic charisma or understanding of how to influence others. Yes. Although, you can always get lucky, I guess. Why is a CTO networking? Leave it to the engineers. Cisco is my go-to for corporate stuff, but PF Sense works great for... I'm a LAN, not a WAN.